So Toy Story 5 was directed by Andrew Stanton and once again features Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, and Joan Cusack, as well as some new voices this time, including Greta Lee, Conan O'Brien, among many others. And in this movie taking place after the events of Toy Story 4, Bonnie is growing up. She's not playing with her toys as much. A lot of kids don't like the fact that she still plays with toys, and a lot of them are playing with electronic devices and such. So when her parents buy her a Lily Pad, which is a smart device, they realize tech is overtaking their home, and this device wants to kind of take over Bonnie's life in a weird way. So this is a movie that I was not entirely looking forward to. Now, while I enjoyed Toy Story 1, 2, and 3, I think they're great animated movies, a perfect trilogy. Toy Story 4 is a different story. Now, as you can see, I clearly have the Blu-ray behind me, but Toy Story 4 I have a weird relationship with. I remember walking out of it at first when I saw it back in 2019 and thinking, that was a pretty good movie and actually kind of lived up to Toy Story 3. The more I thought of it, though, no, it did not. I felt like Toy Story 4 was a little misguided. I felt like while it was beautifully animated, I thought it was the worst of the trilogy. And I just felt like a lot of the choices they made in that movie were just why? So when I heard that they were making Toy Story 5 and bringing Woody back of all people, well, of all toys, I should say, is like, how is this going to work? How is this going to be possible? And the movie itself looked okay-ish, but it's like, I just don't feel like they need to make any more Toy Story movies. Like, 3 was fine, and it was a perfect ending. But this movie, honestly, I will say with this, it's actually decent. It's actually pretty good. Who knows? Maybe I will think about this movie the same way I look at Toy Story 4 down the line, but for right now, I will say I actually enjoyed it for the most part. I will say it's definitely better than 4, but not as good as 1, 2, or 3. So let's start off with what I do like about this movie. The voice acting, once again, is incredible. It's just great to hear Tom Hanks and Tim Allen as these characters again. And it's great to see this movie has more Woody and Buzz in it together, which I feel like was kind of missing from a lot of these movies. Which, that was kind of one of the things that I look back on the Toy Story franchise and realize, wait, Woody and Buzz were kind of together for the first movie, only kind of together for 2, 3, and 4, so it was kind of nice to see the two of them together, working together. But Joan Cusack as Jessie kind of steals the entire movie. It's mostly about Jessie, and I felt like the movie actually did a lot with her, and it's probably the best that they used her character since 2. And actually the new voices, like Greta Lee and Conan O'Brien, both of them I thought were actually pretty good. And I actually thought their characters were kind of interesting. Well, Greta Lee's character is interesting. Conan O'Brien's not so much, but there's a unique angle they take with his character, which I'll kind of talk about a little bit. But the animation of these movies are just absolutely stunning, and it feels like they just kind of come up with new ways to animate their world and such. Like the way they animate Bonnie's imagination, I thought was actually really cool. Also, I will say the music is also really great, which, you know, can't really say that about Toy Story. You can say that about all the Toy Story movies, like the music is great and such. But yeah, the music is still whimsical, it's still fun, and yeah, I will also say the movie also is pretty funny. There were times where I was laughing at a bunch of the jokes in this movie. Well, not all the jokes, but I'll talk about those as well. I felt like it was actually pretty funny. Like, a lot of characters actually have some very funny moments. And I actually do like what they also did with this movie, and that they brought back elements from 4 that were missing. One of my other biggest complaints about Toy Story 4 was that the movie itself was like, okay, so Woody's kind of neglected, and so he doesn't want to be neglected anymore. And yet, literally every other toy in this movie is just neglected, and I felt like that was just annoying. At least in this movie, they kind of cut back and forth between Jessie's story as well as Woody and Buzz's story in this movie, as well as this other subplot involving Buzz Lightyear's. Yeah, and I'll talk about that too. But I actually felt like they kind of missed what that... They kind of brought back what was missing in 4, is that like they actually had a reason for all the toys to be in this movie and such. And also, I do feel like the messages of this movie are very unique. Obviously, the movie is showing about how technology is changing the way kids play with toys and such, but it actually kind of goes a lot deeper than that. You kind of get a lot of things about Jessie and how she's handling various things. You get some things about how technology kind of plays into like all of our lives, and it shows that even technology kind of also kind of goes by the wayside a little bit as you grow older. I thought that was kind of a unique take in this movie, where you kind of see like Conan O'Brien's character, like the fact that his character was mainly used when his kid was very young and such. And it's like, okay, so even toys that are like technologically advanced can also feel like they're kind of going by the wayside. You know, that's actually kind of a unique angle that I kind of feel like this movie actually did very well. But let's talk about a couple things about this movie I didn't like. Now, I mentioned that I did laugh throughout the entire movie. There were several jokes in this movie that I felt like were just beneath this franchise. Like, there was a lot of jokes involving Conan O'Brien's character and, like, what his toy is. It's just not funny. I just didn't find those jokes funny. They were just... again, I just found it beneath them. And every time there was a joke relating to that, I just groaned and rolled my eyes. Like, you're better than this, Toy Story. You're better than this. Also, even though the movie does bring back characters and actually kind of makes use of all the characters in this movie, I would argue that they could have used some characters more. Like, they do use some of the characters that we've kind of known and loved, like the Potato Heads, Rex, Ham, Slinky Dog, but they could have used them a little bit more. Also, it was very disappointing to see. So, there is a brief surprise in this movie with a character who returns from 4, and I felt like they could have used him a little bit more because he was a highlight in 4. That's all I'll say. And also, it is kind of murky with the whole subplots in this movie. Like, it kind of cuts back between Jesse and also Woody and Buzz, but then also these Buzz characters. In fact, it even starts off with these Buzz characters, and it's kind of jarring at first. It's like, okay, where are you going with this? And I even forgot at some point, it's like, oh, right, the Buzz Lightyears were kind of in this movie. And it's just kind of, it's a little murky at first, but like by the end where it's like it all kind of comes together, it's like, okay, it all makes sense now. It just kind of takes a while for you to realize it's like, oh yeah, right, this plot is important. I just forgot that it was important, but I also feel like the people who were making this movie may have forgotten it was important too. So overall, I will say with Toy Story 5, the voice acting was really good, the animation is still top tier, the music is great, it does have some very funny jokes, and there are unique ideas that are being thrown on this movie, and I kind of feel like it was actually kind of going back to what made Toy Story great to begin with. And actually, again, I will say, better than 4, not good as 1, 2, or 3. Even though I don't find some jokes funny, and also some characters could have been used a little bit more, and again, the whole structure of the movie could have been a little bit better, I will still say I'm somewhat surprised by this, saying that, like, yeah, maybe Toy Story, maybe it's okay that it actually went past 3. Still could have rewritten 4 better, but, we can't all be perfect, I guess. So, I'll still give Toy Story 5 3 out of 4 stars. See it. So, how would you rank the Toy Story movies? If you want to include Lightyear in that, go ahead. Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Stay safe.